All right. We have another song from Helene tonight. This is Sunday night. Hopefully, everybody had a good weekend. She had dropped this video in my DM on Instagram. She wanted me to check out their former band that she used to be a part of, and just gives me opportunity to see what type of music they had. She priorly had some music made a little more. Um, Danish traditional. She did show me some clips that she had some favorite metal artists, heavy metal artists. So this gives me an opportunity to react to her former bands. I think it's more like a single. She did say this is from their album, so we're gonna take a look at it, play it for everybody tonight, and we're gonna react to this.
Before the time of reason, there was a change in season.
This just sounds so like the artists I used to listen to. Um, a lot of people don't realize that I listen to a lot of metal, mostly European metal. And there was a couple of artists that I really enjoyed. They were along the lines of like progressive metal, um, goth, progressive goth, stuff like that. But the way her vocals hit along with the band's instrumentals with the guitar and drum, it reminded me of two bands I used to listen to heavily, Sirenia and Tristania. They, I believe they were, I think they're Norwegian. I have to go back and look at that. But her vocals and just the rhythm just brought me back to those two artists I used to listen to a lot back in the early 2000s. Well, more or less the mid 2000s. So it's kind of sad that they broke up because now it's interesting to see how far they could have developed their sound, fine tuned it to shift into the progressive metal genre or the dark wave or the goth scene because a lot of the Nordic, Irish, Celtic regions that broke into metal, they also had a lot of the little goth tones to it. There's another group called Xandria that I like to listen to. They have like that goth metal sound and guitar rhythm. So it's kind of unfortunate, but I like how it's going. I mean, the rhythm is really nice. I love it. I just, I mean, I know the band broke up. Whoever did the visuals, it's kind of muttering. It's mudding the aesthetic. Like it's kind of like making it blurry and cloudy. I kind of wish they had someone who was really good with video editing for this. But you know, when it comes to video editing, sometimes you have to try and try with trial and error to see what works and what doesn't. And a lot of times when you do video editing, because I do video editing myself, you're not going to know if it looks good until you produce it and then you play it back and then you step back from it and then you play it back and you realize, oh, well, that didn't look too great. So you're going to try something different. So besides that, I kind of wish the visuals did not just muddy up the actual aesthetic of the music video, but the song is really good. I love it. I love it so far.
Some kind of shift in numbers, a growing sense of slumbers. To run away from things is not freedom. To run towards is choice.
Okay, you know what? I see where they're going with the visuals. They okay, so back in the late 80s going into the 90s, they used a lot of psychedelic tunnel portal style visuals, especially like in some of the pop rock bands. They didn't have a lot of goth rock bands, but some of the grunge bands, they use a lot of those psychedelic visuals. But what, and this is the hard part, in order to pull this off visually, you would have to record the band without any visuals. Okay. Then you have to record the lead singer, the drummer, and the guitarist against a green screen or a blue screen. Okay. And then record the band again with those same visuals to sync how you want the visuals to play. And then when you edit the videos together, you'll have to take your synchronized visuals, pull the background out from the band itself, and then layer those visuals behind each person in each camera view. So it's basically like alpha channeling and matte editing, which they consider that superimposing or compositing. It's very tricky because you're going to have to do it 3 times unless you're really good at just recording the band behind a blue screen or a green screen and one full shot. And then you're running a visualizer that is extended longer than the actual band is playing. Then you overlay the visualizer in a separate layer, and then you decide to cut out which visuals you want to transition, and then you add transitions between each layered visualizer in your video edit to blend in. But you're still going to have to cut the band out of your blue screen and superimpose the visuals behind the band. And that's where a lot of those aesthetics with the visualizers and the portals came from back then. They did a lot of blue screen, green screen, superimposing and compositing back then, alpha channeling. And it just gave it like a sci-fi grunge feel to it. So I see where they're going with that, but it doesn't work with the visualizer, like I said, on top, muddying the visual because it, for one, it blurs it, and then it's like it makes the whole visualization of the band translucent, like it's covering up, so you don't get to see the band in pure clarity at all. So anybody who's watching this music reaction, that's a video editing tip that you can take, especially if you're a beginning video editor or you're a beginning musician or your band is starting up and you're on a budget. Yeah, definitely look at how to do alpha channeling and compositing. And then you'll get to see how you can layer your visual or your special effects behind the actual people you're trying to record. And you can actually, even if you don't have green screen or you can't afford it, and this is tedious, you can use masking with the Mach-Ray tool, cut the characters out, and then delete the background. The only problem with that is you'll have to tediously go through frame by frame and kind of cut out the background and then blur the edges of the characters out of the background so it can smooth it a bit. And then your background will be completely cut out, and you can add your visuals or whatever behind it. And there's a lot of tricks you can do with that, but it's good to study video editing a lot of times when it comes to music videos, so you can get a great crisp video, especially if you're new at it or you're on a tight budget. I'll be honest, people will charge you a lot of money for something simple. Me, what if someone comes to me for video editing, I do the first project free because I want them to see their ideas come to life, and I want them to look at their first project and see how they like it. If they like it, great. We can talk about price after that. But I always have a first time project free. Next ones we can talk about price. That way you can see how my style works with your ideas, how you like the way the video came out. No, there's no wasted money or anything on the first project. So let's get right back to it.
Not for our lives, but faces to match these times and places. To run away from things is not freedom. To run towards is choice.
I don't know what that is, but that is killing the video. That is killing the video. Whatever that is, whatever effect that is, they should have just transitioned that nebula effect as a complete separate visualizer while we're going into like the chorus or the non-vocal chorus, and then have it mold and shape, do whatever, and then when the lead singer comes back in, then transition back to lead singer, because that right there, it literally like covered up the pianist or the organist, and it's just like, yo, I was like, what is that? Because first I was focused on the piano player or the organist player, and then that just washed it out. So anyway, I'm turning this into a video editing tutorial. Uh, Never mind. Anyway, us just get back to the music video, because this is supposed to be a music reaction, not a video editing reaction.
You should not kill thy neighbor. You should not break his armor. When all the words are broken, it does not count what's spoken. To run away from things is not freedom. To run towards is choice.
All right, that was To Run Away by Helene's former band. That was good. Good music. That was awesome. Like I said, that type of music, it's technically part of progressive metal. I know a lot of people don't quite know what that is unless you're into metal or goth, but it is a genre because they take the light side of heavy metal mixed with the gothic singing vocals with a hint of electronic music to it, and it softens the metal a little bit, and then you got your vocals, so it carries a fantasy sound at the end of the day. But this was really nice. I really enjoyed it. I didn't mean to turn it into a video tutorial, but one thing that kind of ruins a lot of videos is when they mess up on the visuals, and it tends to suck when that happens. But this is a music reaction. So I am reacting to a music video. Awesome. 5 stars on the music. The band, um, even though they don't have their lead singer anymore, if you see this music video, definitely, definitely, please, I implore you, look up some video editing YouTube tutorials. Definitely. Because you don't want to use visualizations to wash out your actual focals, your focal point on your video, or the people in your band. When you wash out your visuals of the whole band and it looks like they're behind some type of crazy screen, the person or your audience gets a little distracted, or they can get frustrated because they're looking at these weird visuals that don't make sense, but then they want to focus on the band so they can relate to the band that's singing the music, and so they can move with the band. It's kind of the whole idea why people record themselves performing music, because sometimes people will start moving and dancing to the artist's movement. If the artist is bobbing the head, the audience will bob the head. If the artist is head banging, guess what? The audience is going to start head banging. So you get the point. But this was a great song at the end of the day. It definitely fits along the more popular artists, Xandria, Sirenia, and Tristania in progressive metal genre. The song again, once again, To Run Away. I will put a link in the description of where you can watch this video if you want to see the whole video without me rambling and doing video tutorials. The link will be in the description of this video so you can check it out, and you can check out Helene's other music that she's putting out. She is working on a couple of singles. I'll look forward for those to drop, and I'll see you guys later.